Welcome to another episode of How to Do Character Voices with the Beginner Player. This lesson will hopefully change completely how you think about your role in a story when you voice act a character. So there's voice acting, and voicing is only half of the word. Acting is another 50% of the word voice acting, so it's very important. So this episode is going to be focused on helping you understand what is my role in a story, what do I want to accomplish, and what should my character be doing right now. And those three things are equally as important as doing a voice. And I'm going to share a super simple, super practical method that my friends and I have been using to get players to open up and RP more and really get into a story. And to sort of fulfill roles almost like as if you're filling a role in a play, right? Okay, well, what does that look like? Well, there's something called character archetypes, which writers use, and they're super, super, super important. Now, when I first started getting into writing and things like that in story, I thought character archetypes, tropes, it's all cliche, it's been done before, I want to do something new. That was a little bit hubris on my part, a lot hubris on my part. There's a reason why character archetypes are super important, and it's because they work. They take core life issues that people commonly struggle with, and they boil it down to a really simple thing that is sort of explored in a story that you work through. It's honestly kind of therapeutic, right? So take, for example, the archetype of, let's say, the hero's idol. Think of All Might, right? All Might is someone who has the responsibility of the world on his shoulders. Everyone looks to him to be, to be strong, to be the hero. That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of weight. So what is that archetype behind All Might? That archetype behind All Might is called the hero's idol. And the hero's idol is the character that inspires the hero. Now, we've created cards for our characters where you have a set of 3 core motivations, 2 weaknesses, and a secret need. And you're trying to accomplish these things every session. Now, what is a core motivation? This is something not that you as a player necessarily want. This is not something that you as your character necessarily wants. This is something that your character needs to fulfill in the story. So 3 things. Okay, the hero's idol. Did he inspire the hero? Have you inspired hope today? Have you helped someone to... Did you convince someone to want to be like you? Whether through your actions or words or an inspiring display. Okay, those are 3 core motivations. Did I inspire the hero? I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. I just barely said them. Anyway, you get the idea. There's these 3 core motivations. Did I accomplish this? Did I accomplish this? And did I accomplish this? And those are roles in the story, right? Okay. Weaknesses. Now, weaknesses are things that your characters aren't usually aware of. There's a little bit, they kind of understand it, but it's not all there. And these are things you want to show in your character interactions. So a weakness for the hero's idol might be dealing with the pressure and responsibility of everyone looking to you to be the hero. I mean, you look at All Might's character, he's literally a thin, scrunchy man with severe injuries, and he doesn't show that in public. He hardly ever shows who he really is in public. He has to hide who he really is. That's the concept behind it, right? So that's a weakness that you can show. Another one, say for a hero, the hero archetype might be hubris, might be pride. It might be, he thinks he's ready for something he's not, but he needs to learn humility before he faces the villain. Right? Okay. When Luke Skywalker is arguing with Yoda in Dagobah, and they're fighting and arguing, and Luke is just kind of blowing Yoda off and not listening. He needs to learn humility with Yoda before he goes and fights Darth Vader. That's a weakness that you can show your character. So I guarantee you the actors were aware of that, but the character is not. As the viewer, as the reader, you feel for that character, because that character is completely unaware of their weakness, or mostly unaware of their weakness, or they're aware of their weakness and they don't care. In some way, they're struggling. It's relatable, and you can see they're not perfect. And then there's the secret need, which is, I think, the most interesting part of all of this. The secret need is something that your character is truly after, that they themselves are completely unaware of, to the point where when they finally realize their secret need, usually that's when the story ends or they change archetypes. Okay, what does that look like? Well, Batman, the loner, right? His core motivations are, did I push a player away? Did I refuse help? Did I solve a problem alone? My weakness, or his weaknesses, Batman's weaknesses. Did I push away help that I needed? Did I refuse to allow someone to care for an injury? These are like 5 goals. I've got like a bullet list as a player on a sheet, and I'm trying to check these boxes off throughout the game. Did I do this today? Did I do this today? Did I do this session? Did I do this? But then we have the secret need, and the secret need is often in the opposite direction of all of the character's core motivations. So what does that look like for Batman? All of his core motivations and weaknesses are related to pushing other people away. If you watch the movie Lego Batman, it's literally the whole plot of the story. You know, it's a hilarious take on it, and it's true. It's the archetype. You can see where they're getting their inspiration. So the loner pushes people away, pushes people away, pushes people away, but his secret need is to let someone in and risk losing them. He's pushing people away because he's afraid of losing them, but his secret need is to let someone in. So, as a character, the character is unaware of that. But as a player, as an actor, you're aware of that. So you can try to show your character's secret need somehow in the story, in a way that makes the other players are convinced that your character is unaware of that. Another example, the explorer. The explorer's archetype is explore something new, go on an adventure, push people out of their comfort zone, and take big risks, take adventure, you know. But their weaknesses are they're never content where they are. They just, wherever they go, they're just not content. And their secret need, all of their motivation is related to exploration and exploring new things. But their secret need is to call a place home. So everything they're doing is in the opposite direction of what they truly most need, right? And it's like the Treasure Planet. He spends his whole life chasing after this goal, but what he truly wanted was a dad. Ooh, that hits hard. When you think about, you know, the character's secret need is so opposed to their core motivation that usually when they realize that the archetype itself changes. They completely change, like the story usually ends, right? For that character, at least at that chapter. And so when, as a player, how you can apply this to your games is I encourage, go on, just Google common character archetypes. You can go on a site like TV Tropes has a bunch, or things like that, and think about, okay, what are 3 things that I would like my character to accomplish in the story every session? What are 2 weaknesses that my character has that I would like to show in the session? And what is a secret need, something that is completely opposed to all of my character's core motivations that they're trying to learn to understand? And you can put it down on a piece of paper, put it in front of you, and as you're playing the game and you're listening to other players interact and you're listening to other players RP, you can have these check boxes and think, okay, here's a moment for this. Say I'm playing the Paragon, an archetype who creates heroes. The Paragon's whole thing is it's similar to the hero's idol. The hero's idol inspires heroes, but the Paragon is more, I want to create heroes. Who's a Paragon? Metro Man. Perfect example. A little bit of both, but like Metro Man from Megamind. His whole thing, he turned Megamind into the hero without meaning to, but, you know, that was sort of his role in the story. He wasn't aware of it. That was his role in the story, right? So Metro Man comes in and he's inspiring people, and his core motivation, did I inspire people today? Did I solve a problem in a heroic fashion? Did I be an example of a paragon of virtue, hence the name? And then the weaknesses. Did I suffer from having a double life? Did I suffer from so much responsibility and not being who I truly am? And then the secret need to live a normal, ordinary life. Metro Man, gone. He goes off, tries to start a band. It's a perfect example of that archetype. And there's all sorts of character archetypes that are like this that you can draw inspiration from as a player. And so that helps give you a lot of clarity and a lot of direction on what should my character be doing right now? How should I be acting? And what role do I want to accomplish in this scene right now that we're in? And I'll go ahead and post a link in the description of all of the character archetypes that my friend and I sort of put together from sites like TV Tropes and things like that, and put it into sort of a player-friendly format like that with the core motivations, weaknesses, and the secret need. It's got a secret boon for it, but that's just mechanically for a game called Forbidden Lands. We're basing our archetypes off of that game, and so we're building it for that game. But you can use it easily for 5e or for any other thing like that. And as a DM, if you would like, you could take those. Feel free to do anything you want with them, and you can take them and sort of you can give out XP or items or some sort of incentive to the player to get them to interact and push forward in a scene, right? You want to encourage your players, give them something, positive feedback in some way to sort of take on a role and act in the story. And I hope this helps on the acting portion of voice acting, gives you a bit more clarity on how to act your character, not just voice them. As always, stay awesome, and I hope whoever is watching this has a wonderful and awesome day, and that this gives some laughs and some good times and some memorable moments in your D&D campaign.